We are going to start the uh, the first semester of the Bhakti Sastri course. For those who are unfamiliar, the Bhakti Sastri course is actually it covers 4 books, and based on where it is taught, it is organized in different ways. But at ISKCON of Silicon Valley, we have divided it into 4 semesters. And each semester is like about 3.5 to 4 months. This is to enable the busy lifestyle of the Silicon Valley professionals and students who might not have so much time. So the first semester covers 2 small books, Isopanishad and Nectar of Instruction. The second semester, third semester, covers the entire Gita. The second semester covers chapters 1 through 9 of Gita, and third semester is 10 through 18. And the fourth semester covers Nectar of Devotion, which is a book, which is our foundational book in Gaudiya Vaishnava theology. So, who have the copies of Nectar of Devotion and Isopanishad? All right, if you don't have, you can come and get your copy. These are the 2. We can give some small donation. So the Nectar of Instruction will get more copies, but Isopanishad here. Yeah, Isopanishad. Okay, this is. We'll get more copies of Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction. Isopanishad. Right. This is actually an older publication. Somebody had it. So we'll start with our Mangalacharan prayers and we can get started. So the first we'll do is Isopanishad and then we'll do Nectar of Instruction. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. Thank you all again, those who have joined, and for those who have joined online as well. I'm so grateful that you are able to join the Bhakti Sastri course. Before we actually get into the course, the whole idea of doing Bhakti Shastri is to create a platform where it affords an opportunity to read Srila Prabhupada's books. In the modern, ever increasingly busy lifestyle, where we have so many things to take care of, and we have our sadhana of chanting 16 rounds and our services and many other things that we do, reading of Srila Prabhupada's books becomes increasingly an optional activity. And it seems kind of okay, but then as we advance in devotional life, we realize that we need knowledge that sustains our practices. Without that knowledge, then often our practices become a little bit weak, and more importantly, our mind is going to start posing questions. You've been chanting the same Maha Mantra for many years. What did you get out of it? Just maybe it is time to move on, try something different. Or the world itself that is increasingly becoming over-informed through various means, through smartphones and through YouTube and so many avenues of information. Now, Chat GPT, the information is overwhelming and overloading to the mind that can actually cause questions like why and so on and so forth. So it is very essential that we take time to read Srila Prabhupada's books very carefully, scrutinizingly, so that our mind becomes steady, our intelligence becomes strong by reading Prabhupada's books. And that is the whole purpose. The Bhakti Shastri is not to show one's academic prowess, nor one's Sanskrit knowledge, nor to test one's memory power. While those are all great in of themselves, and you might be attracted. I'm not saying I will not provide a platform for those who are intellectually more curious. But the idea is that we have to have that basis of reading Prabhupada's books on a very systematic basis. Otherwise, the mind can get sidetracked. The mind can question. In a very strict sense, I want to also take the case of Srila Haridas Thakur, because people often bring up the question. So for those who are unfamiliar, Srila Haridas Thakur was one of very stalwart saints and acharyas in our line. And he would be chanting the names of Krishna day and night. In fact, we chant, or we take a vow of chanting 16 rounds. On our beats, he would chant 192 rounds every single day. Practically, he did not have time for anything else. He would be just day and night chanting. There are many, many famous stories about Haridas Thakur, but we sidetrack. I'll just be very quick. If you are on that position where you are continuously chanting the names of Krishna day and night, Kirtaniya Sada Hari, then of course you don't need to read, because you have reached the essence of all scriptures, which is to be absorbed in holy names of Krishna. But I don't know about you exalted souls, I can say for myself with absolute certainty, I don't have attachment to that level of the chanting of holy name of Krishna. So for me, it is quite important to read these books so that I can revisit the holy names of Krishna, or why I am chanting the holy names of Krishna, or more importantly, who is Krishna of whose name I am chanting, and why should I serve him on a regular basis, and what's in for me by serving God. So all these things are essential to keep oneself motivated when we have to read Prabhupada's books. So we take our time, we take our attention, we take our intelligence and we pour it into Srila Prabhupada's books, at least in the form of Bhakti Shastri. And there are others who want to do Bhakti Shastri because they require it as a part of first or second initiation, perhaps. Or maybe they want to do Bhakti Vaibhava course. For those who are unfamiliar, Bhakti Shastri, the high school diploma, and Bhakti Vaibhava is like the graduate. Then Bhakti Vedanta is like the postgraduate, and Bhakti Sarvabhauma is like the PhD. So that is the kind of breakdown of the different degrees within ISKCON. So Bhakti Shastri is at the very starting point. We are not here to test your grammar, your Sanskrit, your memory prowess, as I mentioned earlier. It is just what is Prabhupada trying to tell us, and what do we need to inculcate from it, and how do we imbibe those teachings in our life, and that's the goal of Bhakti Shastri. Each day, if you can, so basically it is easy to fall into a trap of reading for the exam, and 30 days or 2 weeks or 2 days before exam, you can start opening the books and reading, and you might pass the exam based on your intellectual prowess. But the goal would be that it would be very frenzied, like cramming your mind with a lot of information. You might not relish the actual reading of Prabhupada's books. Wherever possible, please take your time, at least 10 minutes every day, to kind of go through Prabhupada's books. And it will be really, really helpful. So far, so good. I will not open up for questions now, but I will take questions. We will have, for those who are joining, we will have, the exam is for 100 marks. The final exam has 70 marks. There will be 3 homeworks, each carrying 10 marks each. So if you get and submit the homework in time, you will be getting 30 marks straight off. Homework is open book, and you can just get those 30 marks in your bag by submitting the homework. The exam will be for 70 marks, out of which you should get minimum of 50% to pass, which is 35. So 30 marks of homework, 35 marks of exam, you should get 65 for passing. If you miss 1 or 2 homeworks, you can still make up in exam. It's not a problem. There will be verses for memorization. This is another sticky point in Bhakti. Not sticky, but for those who are adept at memorizing verses, it's easy. But for those who are not, it can be a little difficult. Please don't give up. For those who need a little bit more tips and tricks on how to memorize verses, please approach me. We will work offline with this. Good? All right. So we have more copies of Isopanishad. So if you don't have a copy of Isopanishad, you can get one. We are starting with Isopanishad. Yes, we are starting with Isopanishad, and then we'll do Nectar of Devotion. You're welcome. Yes. All right. So today, because it's the first class, we will do all the verses of Isopanishad. I'll give like a 2-minute introduction of what Upanishad is, what Isopanishad is, and what Vedas are, very, very quickly. There are what are called 3 types of scriptural proofs or praman. So when we talk of scriptural injunctions, we should know what the scriptures are. So there are 3 types of scriptures. One is called Shruti Praman, which is, Shruti is, technically speaking, that which is to be heard. Shruti means to hear. In the previous times, we did not have books or papers or anything. The memory was so sharp, you would be actually hearing from your spiritual master and you remember it. Shruti is hearing. So Shruti Praman. The second is called Smriti Praman, or Smriti proofs. and the third is called Nyaya Praman or Nyaya Prasthan. So 3 types of Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, and Nyaya Prasthan. So when you categorize these scriptures, you have 3 types of Vedic knowledge. And the Shruti Prasthan, or 3 types of the knowledge that are encompassed in Shruti scriptures, are Vedas and Upanishads. And Vedas include the corollaries of the Vedas called the Vedangas. So it's too much information, it's not all going to come in exam. So don't worry, I'm not going to ask you in this. But it's just to get a background. So the Vedas are 4. Anybody? 4 types of Vedas? Rig, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, Samveda. Perfect. There are 4 types of Vedas. In our scriptures, we hear sometimes there are 3 Vedas, sometimes there are 4 Vedas. But based on the time, there were only 3 Vedas, and some time later, the 4th Veda was added, which was the Atharva Veda. Nevertheless, Vedas are words which are spoken by God, and they are called Apaurusheya, which means that no human, Paurusheya or Purusha means human generated, or as we say today, if you do something, it's AI generated versus non-AI generated. So it's human generated versus God generated. So God generated scriptures are Vedas. There is no human origin from there. And Srila Prabhupada actually, in the Isopanishad, Srila Prabhupada's lecture on Vedas is mentioned. And pretty much he talks about all these things. That will be the homework for you, is to go through the introduction to read the lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in Conway Hall in 1969 about what Vedas are. And usually the human being's generated knowledge is subject to defect. For example, at the beginning of the previous century, the smallest building matter was atom, and everybody accepted there is nothing beyond atom. That is it. And everybody thought that is the level of knowledge the scientists had. But they broke open the atom and a lot of stuff came out. So the science changed, which means that Vedas are not like that, subject to change. Vedas are eternal, and Vedas are not subject to the 4 defects of human conditioning. A conditioned human being has 4 defects. The first thing is, it is mentioned here, and we'll come to that. Probably we'll come to, when we do one of the purports, we'll come to it. So that is Vedas, which is non-Apaurusheya and which is not subject to the human conditions. Okay, let me actually bring it up. The first defect of human conditioning is that a human being is prone to commit. Thank you. The second one is illusion. A human being can be subjected to illusion. A conditioned person can be subject to illusion. Talk to a person who is having mental issues and saying, I am the king of this mountain view. Or the third defect is cheating propensity. And the fourth? Senses are imperfect. Thank you. So the Vedas are beyond that. So I will not go too much into the introduction, which you take a time to kind of read that, and that will be the homework. What we will do now is get into Isopanishad. Upanishads are the angas of Vedas that describe God. Vedas, or Veda means to know, and Vedic knowledge encompasses both material and spiritual. Because they would say in Vedas, worship this demigod to go to this heavenly planet, and there are a lot of things which are quote-unquote material in Vedas, because Vedas encompass everything. And this is why Krishna says in the Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavajana Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattasto Niryoga Kshema Atman. He says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Vedas are describing or talking about 3 gunas. Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna, but rise above the three modes of material nature. And Upanishads are that aspect of the Vedas that are talking about the transcendental aspect, which is God. But Upanishads have a problem. They don't directly describe God in his personal form. We are worshipping these murtis, which apparently are made of marble, and they are made of matter. So if it is matter, why are you worshipping matter? So Upanishads don't reach that point yet. They describe God in terms of Nirakar, Nirvishesh, infinite light, because we are so used to matter being the subject of conditioning, binding, and being things to be avoided from the path of Gyan. So we avoid matter. Because God is supremely spiritual, he doesn't have any form. So Upanishads mainly talk about that impersonal aspect of God, but there are enough hints to say that he is person as well. So far, so good. So what we are going to do is, we are going to recite the entire 18 mantras, because it's the first class. Then we can go for first 3 or 4 mantras. Maybe we'll cover 3 to 4 mantras today, including the invocation. And we can start from there. Good plan? Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. So let's start with, it's there on the screen as well. So we can do starting with invocation. Kindly repeat after me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Mantra 1. Ishavasyamidam sarvam Yat kinchad jagatyam jagat Tyena tyaktena bhunjita Magridah kasya svidhanam. Mantra 2. Kurvan eveha karmani Jijivichechatam samaha Evam tvai nanyate tosti Na karma lipyate nare Asurya namate loka Andhena tamasavrita Tamste pretyabhigachanti Eke chatmahano jana Anejadekam manaso javiyo Naina deva apnuvan purvamarsha Tadhavato jnanatyeti tishta Tasmin apo matarishva dadati Tadejati tannaijati Taddure tadvantike Tadantarasya sarvasya तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मैवाभूद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहकः शोकः एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः सपर्यागचुक्रम् अकायमावृणम् अश्नावीरं शुद्धमपापविद्धम् कविर्मनीषी परिभू स्वयंभूर् यता तत्यतोर्तान् व्यददच्चाश्वितिभ्यः समाभ्यः. Sorry, yeah, I don't know. I have my doubts, but anyway. Mantra 9, not on the subject matter, but just the cutting of the lines. Andam tamah pravishanti ye vidyam upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya uvidyayam rata anyadevahur vidyaya nyadahur avidyaya iti shushrumadhiranam yenastad vichachakshire vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyayamritamashnuте andam tamah pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya u sambhutyam rata anyadevahu sambhavad anyad ahur asambhavad iti shushrumadhiranam yenastad vichachakshire sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedho bhayam saha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyamritamashnute. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham tattvam pushana pavrano satya dharmaya drishtaye Pushan ekarshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuharashmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam te te pashyami yosavasau purushah sohamasmi vayuranilam amritam atedam bhasmantam shariram Om krato smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara agnenaya supataraye sman vishwani deva vayunani vidvan yuyudasmajjuhuranameno bhuishtam te nama uktim videma iti Shri Isopanishad Sampurnam Hari Om. So there are 18 verses. If you want to sit up, you can sit up. All right. There are 18 verses in Isopanishad. This Upanishad belongs to the Yajurveda, but Yajurveda has two divisions, the Shukla and Krishna, dark and white. So it belongs to the Shukla Paksha division of the Vedas, and it has 18 verses. I just did the overall verses, so we know we are going to cover these 18 verses, and that exactly what is Isopanishad about. I can take a 5-minute questions before I jump into the actual thing. We have a very, very hard stop at 11 or 10, around between 10:50 and 11. So I think I'll take questions later. All right. The first verse, or the first, it's the first verse is not a verse, it is invocation. So there are 18 verses plus one invocation. So let's do the invocation and let's go to doing the thing. It's very confusing. It's just, there is only Purnam there is nothing else. It's confusing. Kindly repeat after me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Preeti Gaurangi, please do the translation. And somebody give her a mic. Thank you. There is a mic coming right your way. And then
the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself, because He is the complete whole. Even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance.
Thank you. The very first verse, if you can see the word-to-word translation, it will help us understand. If we can break it down, it doesn't seem as complicated as it. Otherwise, it's this whole bunch of Purnams in there with really hardly things to connect, and you can be really confusing. So if you can go to word, please. All right. You have to come now. Okay. So Om is okay. Om is the representation of Krishna. In this case, the Lord is represented by the word Om. Om Purnam Ada. Ada means that. Om is the Lord, is complete. Purnam Adaha, He is complete. And then Purnam Idam. Idam means this. Now, if I am here in this world, the this refers to the material world. So the Lord is complete, and the material world where I am standing, or this, Idam, Purnam Adaha, Purnam Idam. Idam means this material world. It's also Purnam. Right? And then, so if you break down that, so Anchita, you can do the first paragraph of the purport, please. And then Krishna can go and do the second. Now we can see how Srila Prabhupada explains this. Yes. You can, yeah. You can use, yeah. Is it good? Yeah, it should turn green.
The complete whole, or the supreme absolute truth, is the complete personality of Godhead. Realization of impersonal Brahman, or Paramatma, the Supersoul, is incomplete realization of the absolute complete. The supreme personality of Godhead is Sad Shid Ananda Vigraha. Realization of impersonal Brahman is realization of his Sat feature, or his aspect of eternity. And Paramatma realization is realization of his Sat and Chit features, his aspects of eternity and knowledge. But realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, bliss. When one realizes the Supreme Person, he realizes these aspects of the Absolute Truth in their completeness. Vigraha means form. Thus, the complete whole is not formless. If he were formless, or if he were less than his creation in any other way, he could not be complete. The complete whole must contain everything both within and beyond our experience. Otherwise, he cannot be complete.
So you can see this particular paragraph is describing the words Om Purnam Ada. So Krishna is three aspects. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned Vadanti Tat Tattvavidas Tattvam Yajnanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. That same truth has been seen as either the formless Brahman by those who are following the path of jnana or knowledge, which the Upanishads constitute of, but who see him as Paramatma sitting in everyone's heart if you are processing or following the path of dhyana. And if you follow the path of bhakti, then you will see that that particular person also has a form. It is not formless. So the reason Prabhupada argues why the Lord must have a personal form is because if God is formless or completely limitless with light, and we have forms, which means he cannot be complete. Complete means that he should have something I can experience in my vision and I cannot experience in my vision. If the Lord is formless and I have form, which means he is less than me, and therefore he is not complete. So at the very outset, Isopanishad doesn't directly indicate the personal form of the Lord, but it gives hints. Make sense? Okay. So the first paragraph is covering just the first aspect, Om Purnamada. Then Srila Prabhupada covers Purnam Idam. So let's do the next paragraph, please. The first verse I'm going through in detail because I'm trying to map, I'm trying to give a guideline on how to read Prabhupada's books because it's very logically he breaks it down. And some places he might not have that clear logic, but this first one has very clear logic. It's breaking down, Prabhupada is breaking down. All right.
The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies, all of which are as complete as He is. Thus, this phenomenal world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by the energy of the complete whole. And when that schedule is completed, this temporary manifestation will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole.
So if you see this world, it has 24 elements. The 24 elements are 5 sense objects, 5 senses, 5 elements. 5 elements, right? And then 5 sense objects. Then 5 knowledge gathering senses, 5 working senses, 20. Then there is mind, intelligence, false ego. So those are the 24 elements that complete this world. And if you see that this world is created by Krishna, it doesn't need anything extraneous. It seems like, there is really, it has come from God, but it seems to be running on its own. A very crude example is Waymo. Yes or yes? I mean, it seems to be running around on its own with there is no controller, no driver, no nothing. A crude example. The factory can produce the cars that can actually run around, seemingly operating on its own. You just have to hop in the car and you just say, and it will take you every which way. If a small man, a tiny man can create self-driving cars which are just seem to be going around on its own, then what should be the power of God who can create perfectly self-sufficient material existences? In this world there seems to be nothing lacking. There is rain. Life is perfectly going on since billions of years, and life will go on perfectly for billions of years. It seems the world is perfectly going. And that is the way how this material world is also kind of complete, because it comes from God. Because it is an emanation from God. What comes out of complete is also complete. Purnamadaha purnaidam purnat purnam udachyate. Udachyate means from purnat, purnam is coming, udachyate. This material world. So, but then the question comes is, really this material world is complete? I feel so incomplete. People say I'm so lonely, I'm lost, I'm sad, I'm depressed. You can fill in the adjectives, and we'll come there. The next paragraph, Daivirada and then Pranav.
All facilities are given to the small complete units, namely the living beings, to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, and it is obtained after evolving through the 8.4 million species of life in the cycle of birth and death. If in this human life of full consciousness, the living entity does not realize his completeness in realization to the complete whole, he loses the chance to realize his completeness and is again put into the evolutionary cycle by the law of material nature.
Thank you. So, if this material world having this 24 elements and everything comes from God is complete, we also come from God. We are tiny part and parcels of Krishna. He says in the Gita, Mama eva amsho jiva loke. Mama eva amsha. Mama is, the Lord says, mine. Eva means only, not anybody's. It's so categorical. Mama eva amsha. This amsha is mine only. And that amsha is we, the jivas. So if we are also coming from God, then we must be complete. Right? because if material world coming from God is complete, we are coming from God, then we should be complete. Then why are we experiencing incompleteness? And Srila Prabhupada writes, because I am unable to realize my completeness in the conditioned state of existence, which means I assume or I think I am this body and I am being pulled and pushed by the three modes of material nature, which leaves the sense of incompleteness in a complete jiva. But it is because if we go to read deeply on what is the nature of soul, the soul is amazing. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, some look on the soul as amazing, some hear of it as amazing, some see it as amazing. The soul itself is amazing. And each and every one of us sitting here, and the squirrels and the birds and the mosquitoes, they are tiny jivas, but they are completely amazing and completely whole in themselves. And it is mentioned when a person identifies, or when the jiva becomes self-realized, then the jiva doesn't need certificate. I'll give an example. They say, okay, you need to approach a guru to understand spiritual life, correct? And because you are in ignorance, and you need somebody to show the path. And tadvidhi pranipatena verse comes in Gita. But here is another question. What if I become self-realized, then wouldn't I need higher guru to show me higher truths? Where does this cycle end? Is my question making sense? You are saying right now I am conditioned, I need a guru. But after I become self-realized, how do I know I am self-realized? Maybe I need another guru to tell me I am self-realized. And that might end up into an infinite regression. Jiva Goswami answers, the jiva is fully capable of identifying itself in the self-realized state. And the example given is like a torch. In a completely dark room, when you turn on the torch, you will see that the torch will show you so many things, but the torch also will show itself. You don't need a torch to see how the torch looks like. So similarly, the Atma is completely self-cognizant. So that is where Purnam of Atma comes. And because we have that conditioning right now, once that conditioning is gone, then the soul is completely self-illuminating. And then the higher, of course, illumination, that is the path of jnana, where the soul becomes self-realized. But in the path of bhakti, it is not like the torch seeing itself, you are going into the sun of Krishna. Means that Krishna will reveal himself and he will reveal us. So that is the difference in the path of bhakti. But in the path of jnana, which is the Upanishads say, that is the aspect. So far, so good? All right. We'll do one more. So the completeness is both from matter and the completeness is both from jiva, but the jiva encaged in matter feels incomplete.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You're online, there is a question.
Yes, Prabhu. Krishna Varnam Das.
Yes, if you can just
Prabhu,
show the...
Krishna Varnam Das here.
Krishna Varnam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I couldn't comprehend the example you gave of the torch. Can you please elaborate again?
Sure. So the reason of example of torch came was, Krishna Varnam Prabhu, today you are conditioned and you need a spiritual master to guide you to understand your spiritual position. So far, so good?
Yes, sir.
So once you reach self-realization, how do you know you're self-realized? You could be needing another higher spiritual master to guide you to the higher truths. And it can go in an infinite regress. Correct?
Yeah.
But the answer or the counter to that objection is the soul is self-illuminating or self-revealing. Just like when you turn on the torch in a dark room, the torch will show the size of the room, the color of the paint on the wall, and what tables and everything are there, but it will also show itself. It says, okay, the torch is having this shape and this color and so on and so forth. That is the example. Is that helpful?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Next paragraph.
Because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of senses without being dovetailed with the complete whole, the misleading life of sense enjoyment is illusion. The hand of a body is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body, it may appear like a hand, but it actually has none of the potencies of a hand. Similarly, living beings are part and parcel of the complete whole, and if they are severed from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness cannot fully satisfy them.
The illusory energy of Krishna is complete in completely deluding the soul. Yeah, but the soul which is deluded is not happy. So it's in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Maya in the second canto, for those who want to look up, Maya Devi has this thankless job of deluding the living entities to take away from service of Krishna, and she feels a little ashamed to come before Krishna, but that's her job. That's her job. I mean, a crude example I can think is, if there is a person who's a spy spying for another country, you just shamelessly, not shamelessly, dutifully, earn the trust of the people and then do whatever you need to do to achieve your objectives. Similarly, Maya Devi's task is to guide or to delude the conditioned soul attention away from Krishna. That is the thing. All right. Then the happy answer comes in the last paragraph, and then we can take some questions. The completeness. Yes, please.
The completeness of human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. All services in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are dovetailed with the complete whole. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached part and parcels also become complete in themselves.
Thank you. Good. So it makes why there is incompleteness in the complete. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. The another point, implicit point is that because Krishna is complete in himself, in spiritual world there is enough room for everybody. Because one of the questions Prabhupada was asked is, if everybody goes back to Godhead, then what happens to this world? I mean, it's like everybody gets out of the jail. Then what happens to the jail? It's a happy thing for government. You don't need to create more jails. So Krishna doesn't need to create more worlds. But it's hypothetical because there is always conditioned souls. Dva imau purushau loke ksharas chakshara eva chakshara sarvani bhutani kutastokshara uchyate. Krishna says there are always two classes of beings. Dva imau means there are two. Imau means here. Purushaha loke. There is always two kinds of classes. One is kshara and one is akshara. For those who are interested, it's in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there is always the conditioned souls, because conditioned souls are infinite. Souls are infinite from Krishna. And infinity is, if the sun is shining, tell me how many photons from sun can you count? It's impossible, because each ray of the sun contains unlimited number of photons, and sun has unlimited number of rays. And we are talking of one tiny sun. And Krishna, in Bhagavatam, other places, it's mentioned when Krishna arises, it seems like millions of suns have come at the same time. So Krishna is infinite, but he is complete as well. So that is another paradox. When you say complete, okay, complete means I can put everything together. Correct? Then I know complete. But he is infinite and complete at the same time. And that is increasing. So that is Krishna. Just to add, because Purnam means like full. Yes, done. Purnam, done. No. Krishna is infinite, he's increasing, and he's still Purnam. That's another contradiction of Krishna before I go. So far, so good. If you, I would highly recommend we take exactly 3-minute break. I have a hard stop at 11. We'll cover 4 more verses. But in the meanwhile, just go stretch yourself, drink some water, look at the deities. Bio break, exactly 3 minutes, we'll be back. And for those who are online, if you have questions, you can also put them in the chat, just in case you don't have the immediate need. And then we will see you exactly in 3 minutes. Is that good? All right, stretch yourself, breathe some air. Come back. I have 2 more copies of Isopanishad. For those, you can give a small donation in the hundi box, $1 or $2 for the copies, if you want to. Otherwise, it's fine as well. It's a gift from us. Who wants Isopanishad copies? Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining online as well. I see Krishna Varnam, Gauri, Sunita Mataji, Jyotsna, Smita, Mohit, Prashant, Vidyut Lata, Tatagat, Santoshi, Radha, Adhya, Radha Nam Das, very nice. And some I can't see. Thank you for coming back. So we'll
Hare
do...
Krishna Prabhuji. This is Shyam Chandras.
Shyam
Good to see
Chandra
you.
Prabhu, thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
I thought I had...
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. I missed you as well.
Jai.
All right. So we'll do verse number 1, which is the famous verse. So I'll go back to verse. Kindly repeat after me. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridah kasya svidhanam. All right. Who didn't get a chance to read the translation, please? Everything animate or inanimate. You have to keep the mic close to you. Oh, it's not working? We'll get a mic for you. Okay. You just have to press it to show the green button.
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
Thank you. So this is the very basis, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So everything animate or inanimate is controlled by the Lord. And one should therefore accept only the things that are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Srila Prabhupada's purport is really nice. We will, I'll pick and choose few paragraphs because it's a long purport of 11 paragraphs. Let's do the first paragraph because that is something, somebody can read the first paragraph, please, the next person.
Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down through the perfect disciplic succession of the spiritual masters, beginning with the Lord himself. Since he spoke the first word of Vedic knowledge, the source of this knowledge is transcendental. The words spoken by the Lord are called Aparushaya, which indicates that they are not delivered by any mundane person. A living being who lives in the mundane world has 4 defects. He is certain to commit mistakes. He is subject to illusion. He has a propensity to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. No one with these 4 imperfections can deliver perfect knowledge. The Vedas are not produced by such an imperfect creature. Vedic knowledge was originally imparted by the Lord into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples, who has handled it down through history.
Thank you. So in the next verse, Srila Prabhupada mentions that this is part of Yajur Veda, Shukla Yajur Veda. One of the things is who is offering these prayers? And it's an interesting question to ask because according to Madhvacharya, these prayers are offered by Swayambhuva Manu to his grandson, who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his form was Yajna. And this is quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you can pull up Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 8, 10, please. Sorry, 8.1.10. My apologies. 8.1.10. My bad. So kindly repeat after me. Atmavasyam idam vishvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridakasya svidhanam. Getting deja vu? It's the exact same words except for the first line. So these are the words that were spoken by Swayambhuva Manu. And therefore these prayers, who spoke these prayers, are spoken by Swayambhuva Manu. So that is one interesting tidbit I wanted to add. When Madhvacharya quotes this and few other scriptures to say that these are the Isopanishad prayers are spoken by Swayambhuva Manu. One of the things Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purport is, he says, Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita. Bhunjita means to eat or to enjoy. Bhunjita means to eat or to enjoy. So Srila Prabhupada spends a lot of time discussing about what the Lord has given for human beings. And he talks about prasadam and how we have a higher power. And it is true. It is true. We have one luxury as in the human form of life, and nobody can take it away. You know what is that luxury? Kitchen. Seriously. You get up in the morning, you can go to the kitchen, you can open the pantry, you can open the fridge, then you can think, what can I cook today? Isn't that amazing? Because none of us animals have it. You go give bread and rasgulla and some stuff to tiger, it'll fall sick in 2 days, even if you force it by chance, without getting killed in the process. If the mountain lion has to feed its young when they are hungry, or if the bird has to get some food for its young when they are in the nest, they don't go open a pantry or a kitchen. They just have to fly and just get what they need to, and their food is completely fixed. Day after day, week after week, till they live and die, that is their food. I mean, if you're a tiger, it's raw flesh, period. That's all you can eat. Nothing else. If you are a herbivore, that's it. You can eat grass or roots, or if you're a camel, the dried twigs and thorns that cut your teeth, period. So you can see how the Lord has so tightly controlled what anybody can eat. But a human being, he gave this magnificent thing called kitchen. So in the next time, it's too much work. Dude, you're a human being, you have a kitchen. Seriously. It's a. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, because we have that kind of privilege to cook, we also have the responsibility on what one cooks. Because people these days say, you guys are like Hare Krishnas, you eat only prasadam, or, I'm not saying you cannot, have to be so strict on food, because in travel, in sick, and exams, and work, there are always adjustments to be made. But the conscious fact one has to remain is that, we have a higher responsibility in eating as human beings. We cannot be debasing ourselves. That is the point. And Srila Prabhupada also talks about communism and capitalism and how the human beings can actually absorb this message of Vedas. The cats and dogs cannot do that. And it's a beautiful read. I would highly encourage that when you come back before next class, you read these few verses that we discussed today, and then you can ask questions as well. And that will be, and I'm telling you one thing, do that, then you will be set for exam, because you read, and the questions are asked in the class, questions are answered in the class, the subject matter will not go. But if you try to read on its own and try to cram like a formula for AI or Java or whatever, then it will quickly go away. Fair enough? I have seen some of the people or devotees whose intelligence is average, but they did amazing in the tests. And then I have seen PhDs and they stumbled. So it is not of academic thing in here. So far, so good. All right, so we'll end up the first one with the last paragraph of the purport. If we can go to the last paragraph of the purport. Srila Prabhupada tells what is the, this is nice. Yes, next, yeah.
The root of sin is deliberate and disobedient to the law of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. Disobeying the law of nature or the order of the Lord brings ruin to the human being. Conversely, one who is sober, who knows the law of nature, one who is influenced by unnecessary attachment or aversion is sure to be recognized by the Lord and thus become eligible to go back to Godhead, back to the eternal home.
Thank you. Who is not influenced by unnecessary attachment or aversion. Yeah. So the root of, so basically the whole idea of this material world or the incompleteness we feel is Krishna wanting to make us feel complete by making this world incomplete. Now, why did God make this world so incomplete? Why is the world horrible? Why is there so many things happening? This, that. The whole idea is this world will go on in its own nature, but Krishna is giving the lessons through the world that you don't belong here. Why struggle in a prison when you had no stay to begin with? Oh, the prison life is horrible. The prisoners are like out of control and my life is in danger. Well, that you can struggle in the prison or you can try to get out of it. The prison is deliberately made in a way, it is not made into a 5-star hotel, right? If the prisons were made like a 5-star hotels, everybody would be committing crimes. Yes or yes? Free living in 5-star facilities at government cost, that seems appealing. But the prisons are not like that for a reason. The whole structure is made in a way that you don't feel really happy. And because the Atma or the Jiva is nothing to do with matter. Atma has nothing to do with matter, but is entrapped in matter, though matter makes sure that she makes you aware that this is not your home. Just like the prison guards make sure that this is not your place to stay permanently. Is that helpful? Yeah. So, because otherwise Krishna can make it infinitely better. It's not like he doesn't want to, he can create like infinitely better. Get up in the morning. Okay, I need Thai food today. And I put a mantra and get Thai food. And I don't have to go anywhere. I can make it like it. But then you will never be able to see what it means to maintain this body, what the struggle for material existence is. So then when you have a prison, when the Lord is in the control of it, then this is what it is. One point. Point number 2 is, one should know what one's quota is and one should not take more than what is needed. How do I know what is my quota? And Krishna says that everybody has a fixed quota that will come of its own accord. And he mentions in Gita, 4th chapter, 22nd verse, Yadrichalava santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samaha siddhava siddhaucha karmani na nibhadyate. He says that we can pull up that particular verse, 422, please. And then, did everybody get a chance to read here before we go online? Sorry, Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 22nd verse. Which nicely segues into the next verse. Next verse of issue. Okay, kindly repeat after me. Yadrichalabha santushto. Okay, I'll go slow. Yadrichalabha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samaha siddhava siddhaucha kritvapi na nibhadyate. Translation, please. Who has the mic? Okay, quickly, yeah.
He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
Thank you. We look up one more verse in Bhagavatam. I can do that, but I don't know if the interest of time, should I do it? Okay, let's do it. Bhagavatam is yadrichaya upapannena. Let me look up that particular verse so that I can tell. I didn't come prepared with that verse, but I just thought it on the fly. Yadrichaya upapannena. It's in the 8th canto. Okay, let me look it up. Vedas. Yadrichayopapannena. Anyway, somebody can help me as well. 8th canto. This is from Bali Maharaj, the teachings of Bali Maharaj. I can look it up later, that's fine. Bali Maharaj says the same thing. Sorry, Vamanadev. He says the same thing, that one who is satisfied with the gain that comes of its own accord is happy. But if one is not satisfied, even if you get the entire universe, you are not happy. And you'll be like, really? Gain coming of its own accord? Sure. Well, how many Lakshmi Pujas has the world's richest man done to get whatever wealth he has right now? How many Lakshmi Pujas? Tell me, please. And anybody who started out saying that I will be the next multi-billionaire, they never had a complete conviction of their outcome, because they would say, if they are honest, they will say, I was at the right place at the right time, things clicked, and I am who I am, but I never thought I will be like this big. Or vice versa, a person with a well laid out business plan, they fumble and they say, how did things go wrong? I thought it would never, my plan was perfect. There was no product like this in the market. The product was competitive, the people needed it, and somehow it's fumbled. How? It's Krishna's mercy. So, therefore Krishna is saying yadricha. He is saying out of its own accord. And when it's out of its own accord, it is Krishna is saying, me. I am providing you. I am giving you the law. Based on your karma, you are getting it. So in the same way, Isha Vashyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat. Tena tyaktena bunjita is that you have certain quota allotted to you. But this is the thing. Krishna says in the Gita as well that you are helplessly bound to your actions. Even if you don't want to work, you are forced to work. So, based on your modes of material nature, you are forced to work, and then you get the fruits. So, Krishna takes the modes of material nature, make you work, and then Krishna will give you the fruits. So, that's how the existence in material world happens. So, try your best. I'm not saying that this philosophy should not throw you into the throes of laziness or moroseness or a sense of helplessness. It should be very dynamic, knowing that it will give you peace of mind. The reason is, I'm trying, but Krishna has to approve. I'm trying my best, but Krishna has to agree. And if he doesn't agree, then maybe it is not in my destiny. Maybe even it's forget destiny, Krishna doesn't want it for some reason. So having that bhakti while you are performing your work will give you a sense of calm, a sense of reassurance that even if things go south, I have still Krishna with me. I tried to be the multi-billionaire, I didn't end up with that, but now Krishna is there. But if a person has no knowledge of Krishna, has no spirituality, it's danger both the ways. If I work hard and I didn't get my $1 billion, I'm worthless and life is not good, or this person prevented me from getting it, you become bitter, resentful, and just angry at the whole world. Assume that because of your own intelligence you get billions of dollars, you will blow it away on wrong things because you have no knowledge of Krishna. Either way it is danger. And if you have Krishna, either way it is okay. So having that reassurance really pulls you in the world. So one should not, because Arjuna wanted to say, Krishna, thank you very much, I don't want to fight. In the Gita, he just said, I don't want to fight, because it's okay. And Krishna said, you pushed. No, you have to. And how he is pushing us? Krishna says, modes of material nature, you will be pushed to act. Anyways, you have to maintain the body, you'll be pushed to act. So far, so good.
So, Prabhu, sorry. I understand what you said, but I also have one more question coming up. So, is that there is also a question of free will, that every Jivatma has a free will. But we see in this material world, some people have a propensity of capturing the things, or by wrong ways, or even by the right ways, but they try to snatch things from others or things like that. That is a free will, or that is also the Krishna's mercy choice?
That's a free will. I'll tell you why. Please understand the modes, how the modes of material nature act on the conditioned soul. It is not they put a gun to your head and make you act, which means it's not the free will aspect. Because I am attached to a particular modes, the modes are within me, the modes are acting, I'm attracted. I'll give an example. There is a show that is going on, a rock show or something like that, and there is people on the stage and they are singing and dancing. Are the people who are the spectators, do they have a choice or the free will to dance according to what's happening on the stage or no? But what is the reality? They are helplessly acting according to it. So if you identify yourself with what's happening on the stage and you came there, you are quote unquote helpless, but you always have a free will. When you are grabbing somebody's, you always have a choice, but because you are coated with mode of passion, that having that will make me happy, irrespective of the means and methodologies and the ethics involved, then it is your issue that you did it. You always had the free will to not do it. Unfortunately, if you don't have spiritual knowledge, you are helplessly forced to act. But if you have spiritual knowledge, you will say, wait, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, I heard in the class. Everything, animate or inanimate, belongs to the Lord. And what is in my quota is there. Why should I take somebody else's? Then that spiritual knowledge will give you options, will give you rise to intelligence, will give you a rise to a superior spiritual aspect of yourself. If you don't have it, then who's God, whose world, there is nobody. This is mine, I need to grab it. You can see how spiritual knowledge gives that impetus. Is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes. Sheetal and then Anchita.
Hare Krishna. So I have a question regarding Maya Devi and three modes of material nature. Are they the same, or are they like Maya Devi like using them to confuse us?
So I'll give the short answer. So the Gunavataras are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and Maya is the energy of Krishna that inherits or acts according to these three modes. They are the Adhyakshas, but the actions are a combination of three modes of material nature. We can do more depth in Srimad Bhagavatam in 2nd and 3rd cantos. It's a very complicated, not complicated, very involved subject matter. But I've given you an answer in a nutshell, but we can discuss more offline. Thank you. Yes, Anchita, and then we have 2 more verses to do, at least 2 to 3. So please go ahead.
What if you are given 2 amazing opportunities, and it was in your quota to have, the option of one of them? Is there any guidance on which one we should go forward with? Like, for example, amazing opportunity at a to learn, maybe for like a PhD, versus getting a great job in a great company, and you can only pick one. So how do you know what is your quota or what to do?
Excellent. It depends on what is your propensity. Are you a teacher or are you a person who's not a teacher? Maybe I like teaching. So my dharma comes first before the result. So if my dharma is that I like to teach and that's my nature, then I would rather not worry too much about money, but at least follow the way I like to do things, or I'm geared to do things. If you will be like, I can skip PhD, but would I be suffering in a job that I don't like, but yet making money? That is a question you need to answer. Okay. We'll do 2 more verses and then we'll go. So I mentioned yadricha labha santushto dvandva tito vimatsaraha samasiddha vasiddhocha kritvapina nibadyate. So it is said that a person who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord and who doesn't envy. And Mata, the answer to your question is also envy. I need to grab that because I'm envious that person has it. I need that. So if you don't have that envy, then you have no need to grab that person. So God gave you that, you enjoy it, and God gave me this, I will enjoy it. I'm happy. If the world thinks like this, there will be no wars, no defense budgets, no people can use that for health, for education, for homeless people. 50% of the country's defense budget is spent on defense. It is a tragic waste of our time. When people are not having food or health, I mean, the priorities are seriously misplaced. Anyways, that's not for me. But the reason I brought it up is Prabhupada also brought it up, communism and capitalism in his purport. So we'll do the next one, which goes nicely. If you are thinking like this, that everything belongs to God, Isha Vasyamidam, if you are in that spirit, then the second mantra, kind of, please repeat. Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vichetshatam sama evam tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. Everybody got a chance to read here before I call online and the audience? You didn't get a chance? You and your good husband, okay. Okay, 3. Okay, then we do. Mic, please give the mic to her.
One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man.
So, it's clear. I mean, like, first few verses of Isopanishad, it's very clear. God is saying that I own, everything comes from me, and I own everything. You have a certain quota. If you follow that, then there is no danger living in this world. Otherwise, if you don't have spiritual knowledge, then any sin you commit will have the reactions, and it can be a very dangerous situation here. He is saying that you can live like this, no problem at all. And this world, the other aspect is this world will become a happy place. This world won't become a miserable place. The world by itself is not a happy or miserable place. It is how we perceive the world that makes it happy or miserable. If you see that this belongs to God, just like if you go to a hotel room, I mean, if people travel business or travel to sightseeing, if you go into a hotel room, and then if you are in your hotel, you are comfortable with what you have and everything is good, you start fighting with the neighbors there. Hey, get out of this room. This is my room. Why is your room? No, my wife needs separate room. I need separate room. And then you go to the third person and say, hey, get out of this room. My kid needs another room. You'll have a serious problem because you realize that it doesn't belong to you in the first place. Let's see some purports, some gems from Srila Prabhupada's purports. So I wish, actually, I wish we had the time to read every purport and go on, but this is not Bhakti Vriksha, this is Bhakti Sastri, so I have to go a little faster. Otherwise, because one of the Bhakti Vrikshas, we took 8 years to complete Gita. So I wish I had that kind of luxury, but I don't. This is a very practical thing. Go to factually. In the paragraph, if you come down.
Factually.
Factually. Yes, factually.
Factually, no one has to do anything more than render devotional service to the Lord. However, in the lower stages of life, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop fruitive work. A conditioned soul is accustomed to working for sense gratification for his own selfish interest, immediate or extended. An ordinary man works for his own sense enjoyment, and when this principle of sense enjoyment is extended to include his society, nation, or humanity in general, it assumes various attractive names such as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. These isms are certainly very attractive form of karma bandhana, karmic bondage. But the Vedic instruction of Sri Upanishad is that if one actually wants to live for any of the above isms, he should make them God-centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man or an altruist or a socialist, a communalist, a nationalist, or a humanitarian, provided that one executes his activity in relation with Ishavasya, the God-centered conception.
So here is Krishna saying that, and Prabhupada mentions, Krishna says in the Gita, 9th chapter, 22nd verse. What does he say? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityavayuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Okay, you want to pull it up? That's fine. 9:22. No, 22. It's not there? Ananyas chintayanto mam. Yeah. So here, Prabhupada is writing here. If you go to the translation, please. Somebody can do the translation before I go online. Shamchandra Prabhu, please be ready after this. All right. Yeah, come down a little bit. Hare Krishna. Translation, sorry.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
So Prabhupada writes, factually one need not do anything else except devotional service. If you worship Krishna, then Krishna will provide you what you lack and he will protect what you... Good. Then why am I doing what am I doing? Yes, just you can use this verse and quit your job. Happy life. But the problem is, there is a caveat here. Ananyas chinta. That is the problem. No other chinta other than Krishna. That we are not there. Exalted souls, I don't know. I am definitely not there. So we have to maintain our bodies and we have to make sure that we do our work to the best of our ability, provided it's God-centered. If my work is, if it's brutal 18 hours work that hardly leaves me any time for doing anything else, then you might need to reconsider, what you're doing. Because 18 hours of work per day for X number of years not only will spoil your health, but it will put a serious dent in your spiritual life. And Krishna is saying you should do what it takes to maintain body and soul together. That's another thing. And body and soul together has different connotations for different people. For women, it may be different from men. For a single person, may be different from family. For a sannyasi, so on and so forth. So, but the whole idea is keep the bare minimum. I mean, if you go to a hotel, you don't go and change the furniture, paint the walls, or break down the rooms just because I don't like this. No, you don't do that. You just do what you need to get out of it. Helps? So, in Bhakti Yoga, in other forms of yoga, there is a detachment of matter. Jnana means, this is matter. Take it out, throw it out. Or karma means, I love work. But bhakti means I am neither detested or neither I hate matter nor I love matter. I am neutral to matter. Because I can use matter in service of Krishna or I can be detached from matter. If something can help in service of Krishna, I'll use it. There could be an entrepreneur who says, I want to build a big temple for Krishna, and then I need to earn billions of dollars. It's not she is greedy for $1 billion. She has the detachment to use that money in service of Krishna. So neither I hate it nor I love it. Is that helpful? That's where we are at. Okay. All right. Next, third one. Asuryanamate loka andena tamasavrita tamste pretyabhigachanti eke chatmahano jana. Online, Shamchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Translation. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance.
Actually, first time when I read, I was little confused. Because in Bhagavad Gita, you read the soul never is born and never. There is a killer of soul. So how do you kill the soul? Isn't that interesting? Soul is never, right? So, Shamchandra Prabhu, please, if you can ask, or online, you can read paragraph second, starting with intelligent. Second, if you come down a little bit, intelligent human beings.
Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breezes that help the boat fly smoothly to its desired destination. If with all these facilities a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Sri Isopanishad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually.
Thank you.
Very powerful.
Krishna. Sunita Mataji, okay, you raise your hand. You want to read or you have a question?
Yes, we're going to read whenever.
Yeah, okay, read. Okay, I'll ask you to read, Mataji. So, the killer of the soul, I'll bring up 1 or 2 verses from Bhagavatam. Please open 11th canto, 5th chapter, and 15th verse. 11, 5, 15. All right. Kindly repeat after me. Dvishanta parakayeshu Svatmanam harimishwaram Mritake sanubandhesmin Baddha sneha patantyada. Sanita Mataji, translation please.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guruji. The conditioned souls become completely bound in affection to their own corpse-like material bodies and the relatives and paraphernalia. In such a proud and foolish condition, the conditioned souls envy other living entities as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who resides in the heart of all beings. Thus, enviously offending others, the conditioned souls gradually fall down into hell.
Next verse, please.
Purport.
No purport. Next verse. Thank you,
Okay,
Mataji.
Guruji.
Because we don't have much time, we can read the next verse. It's 15. Translation, I'll not do the...
Those who have not achieved knowledge of the Absolute Truth, yet who are still beyond the darkness of complete ignorance, generally follow the threefold path of pious material life, namely religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. Not having time to reflect on any higher purpose, they become the killers of their own soul.
Make sense? So basically, person whose whole life is just dedicated exclusively to body. That's it. This is no reality beyond it. Anything and everything connected to my body is the absolute truth or reality, and I just don't have anything. Krishna says that you're the killer of your own soul, because if you have mainly bodily concerns, then you don't need to have a human life, because every animal also has concern about their bodies and their children. So if one doesn't pursue spirituality, given the rare human body, then it's a problem. And which is that verse I'm trying to think from the passage that we read. Plavam sukalpam gurukarnadaram mayanukulena nabhasvate ritam puman bhavabdim nataretsa atmaha. Oh, Nridehamadyam, that's the verse, Nridehamadyam sulabam sudurlabam. That this human form of life, Nrideham, is very, very difficult to achieve. But then the favorable breezes are like the Vedas, the spiritual master is like the captain of the ship, this human body is like a wonderful ship, but you need the direction. If you are a ship on the boat or the ocean, if you don't have a direction, then you can get tossed about every which way. But in the human form of life, you can take the opportunity to guide the ship through the ocean. And this material world is like an ocean of existence. So we will see if there is... yeah, I think this is good. I will stop here because it can be intense. It can be a little bit intense, but I'm sorry for putting you through, but you'll be happy at the end of it. More questions, comments? Yes, Vaibhav. We have 10 minutes more.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So in first verse, it is specified in purport, we have the 4 defects, right? So now, I want to more discuss about the senses are imperfect, and we can realize in our day-to-day life also that our senses are really imperfect. So how we can perfect our senses, or is there any hope we can?
Yeah. Yes. I'm thinking of that verse. Swayam eva spuratyada namas chintamani. No. Swayam eva spuratyada. What's the verse? I'm looking up.
Nam Ramani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa.
नाम चिंतामणि कृष्ण चैतन्य रस विग्रह पूर्ण शुद्धो नित्य मुक्तो अभिन्वत्व. That is great, but no, this is not that verse. Swayam eva spuratyada. Spuratyada. Sorry. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi. Okay, let me look up that particular. Atah Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavayad grahyam indriyai. Sevonmukhe hijivhadau swayameva spuratyada. Let me see if I can find that verse. Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can look up. If he can pull up Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 17:136. It's an important verse that can help answer. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, we can look up. Can you pull up, please? Okay, take your time. No rush, no rush. Go to. If you want, I can guide you. You can put it on the screen. I can guide you. In the mean, 17. Okay, Madhya. So if you go all the way up, 17 you are there, right? 136 if you are there. It's Madhya. Control F, 136. All right, kindly repeat after me. Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukhe Jivhadau Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnant of Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Answers? All right. More questions? Yes. Pranav.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, I have a question about the first verse or the invocation that we did. I'm still a bit confused about kind of what we are calling Purnam, because I understand the Supreme Lord calling it as Purnam, but the Anshas or parts and parcels or this material world, which we say it's like inferior to the the material energy is inferior to the spiritual energy. So still we say it's Purnam. So in like what sense? So like I understand in their purpose they are complete. So the purpose for which the material world is there, in that purpose it's complete. Or even the Jivatma, we have the same kind of form as like Satchidananda. We have those qualities, but we are covered by ignorance. But like how are we still complete then? Like so when we are covered, then we are not complete, right? Or we are still same in quality but different in quantity, like infinitesimal in quantity. So we are not the complete, like so that I have a bit confusion about like what we are calling complete exactly.
And your complete is specifically to the material world or the jivas?
Like both ways.
Okay. Do you like BMW? I'm just picking up a brand. It doesn't matter, irrespective. Yeah, it has, the top end has, I think there is a SUV for almost $200,000. And there is the smallest car that comes out is, I don't know, 20, 40, I don't know what these numbers are these days. But they come from the same factory and they have the same quality, at least that's assumed, because it's coming from there. Because what comes from pure, complete and perfect has to be complete. Otherwise, if something comes from BMW and it comes really shoddy, bad quality, is it a BMW product or not? I'm just giving a crude example. So if Krishna is pure, complete and perfect, then what comes from Krishna must be perfect. If it is imperfect, how imperfect comes from perfect? But then we discussed why we feel imperfect. That feeling imperfect and actually being imperfect is two different things. Not, okay, ask more. I know you're not satisfied.
Yeah, this in some sense feels like similar to maybe like the philosophy that like I'm like equivalent to God, or I can become God, because like
you are equivalent to God. You are equivalent to God in quality. Just like when the photons from the sun come, they are equivalent to sun in quality. But in quantity, sun is infinitely big and you are infinitely small. The infinitely smallness doesn't diminish even to the slightest bit the quality of equality. You both are equal in quality. As the Lord has purity, I as a soul have complete purity like Him. But I am limited in terms of the overarching scheme of things. I can't create planets, but Krishna can. I cannot be the super soul in everyone. I can't be sitting in everyone's heart and knowing what's going on in your heart. I can't, or in her heart. That is, some things are exclusively reserved for Krishna, but the compassion, the love, because if there is no equality, then what is the question of loving? If you love someone, there has to be some platform of equality, correct? If there is eternal inequality, there is no question of being love. If I say love of God, then I have to have at least some platform of equality, that I can give some love to God and God can give some love to me and I can exchange that love. Correct? If I, for example, if a man and a woman give birth to another human being, there can be exchange of love because the equality is humanness. Correct? But if the man and women, heaven forbid, give birth to a stone, where is the love? Because there is no, it's inert. So there has to be some equality. Is that helpful? By the way, Pranav actually has PhD from Caltech. So it's not like he's super smart. So he's asking good questions. Is that helpful? But as we read Prabhupada's books, you will come, this is a very crucial point. Simultaneous equality and inequality. The Gaudiya Vaishnava is achintya, inconceivable, bheda, difference, abheda. Inconceivable, oneness and difference at the same time. It will take time to come, but it is a possibility. And I'll explain with examples on how that is possible. How two things can be simultaneously one and equal and at the same time different. But just take my word for it for now. And if you come for more classes, we'll do it. Is that okay, Pranav? All right. More questions. Devi Radha.
Actually, I had the similar question of what he had, but I thought that maybe the
You have to put it to mic because people are like they are deprived of hearing your voice.
So I assume that the complete means like we are complete in terms of Satchit Anand, but we had that paradoxical thing that we are same in quality but not in quantity. So maybe the completeness is not applying there, it's just applying in terms of Satchit Anand. Is that correct?
Correct. Perfect. Because Lord is Satchidananda, I am Satchidananda. But the Ananda I have is, or Ananda I can experience is infinite as long as I am with the Lord. Because if I don't have the capacity to enjoying, I can't enjoy the matter. Inherently, I don't have the capacity to enjoy. A nice point. That's a nice point. More questions you had? Yeah. Go for it. Krishna Varnam Prabhu, I see your hand raised. I'll cut you in a couple of minutes.
So the three features that we said, like Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. So the Brahman and Paramatma, they are also coming from the complete, but in the purport also it says they are incomplete. Right? So then something coming from complete is also incomplete. So, yeah.
So the answer is Brahman and Paramatma are not coming from incomplete forms, coming from complete. They are incomplete realizations of complete. I'll give an example. I'll make it simple. There is a building on top of the mountain, and it's a triangular building. One side is coated or painted in yellow, one side in blue, the other side in green. Now, which direction you go, you will see the same building in different color. Is this the incompleteness of the building or incompleteness of your vision? So, based on the path of jnana or bhakti or karma, Krishna will reveal himself. So it is not the incompleteness of Brahman coming from Krishna, it is the incomplete realization of Krishna based on the path you have taken. And that's what Krishna is saying. If you want to know me fully, then bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan. So with bhakti you can know me completely. But if you come through other paths, I will reveal myself accordingly. Ye yathamam prapadyanti tam sthita upajamya. Is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you.
But it can have an ongoing conversation. Krishna Varnam Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is on the similar line. So we say Brahman and Paramatma are not the complete realization. But Vedas and Upanishads only talk about the Brahman and Paramatma realization. And yet we say Vedas and Upanishads are the highest spiritual authority, highest scriptures in, if you want to get the spiritual knowledge. And they are the voice of Krishna himself. So Krishna is complete, but Vedas and Upanishads are still not talking about the complete realization of God realization.
Yeah, because and Krishna himself acknowledges this. He says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya. He says Vedas are talking of multiple things, rise above them. And through Vedas, Krishna says, Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma. That through understanding Vedas, it is difficult to know Krishna, but through his own devotee, it is very easy to know Krishna. So there are Vedas, and Krishna himself says there are Vedas have an issue. So in the one sense, their highest is from a scriptural perspective, but from God realization perspective, the idea is that they are not complete. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham. And the other point is Vyasadeva wrote all the Upanishads, he divided the Vedas into 4, he did everything, yet he was dissatisfied. And Narada Muni came to him and said that no, you have to glorify Krishna, then only it will give complete happiness of the soul. So, while Vedas are the highest revelations, they don't necessarily lead to the highest goal, which is Krishna. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktav Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bachami. Helpful?
Yes, Lord.
All right, we'll stop here today because there is going to be a kids' practice and I have a hard stop. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for coming. For those who are online, I hope and pray. I pray to Sri Ram Madan Mohan, Sri Lakshmi Narsingh Dev, Sriman Mahaprabhu, and especially to our very own dear Srila Prabhupada, that may they remove any and all obstacles as we commence this Bhakti Sastri course and help all by giving us intelligence, realizations of their teachings. Thank you for considering our request. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Anybody who agrees with these prayers in whole or in part, you can unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right, thank you.
Hare Krishna.